Welcome back to the Barely Ballers podcast, officially under the YKTR Sports umbrella, and I'm sitting here in the BSC content studios. Alex, you know my rig needs some good supplements, so we got BSC on board, which is fantastic. And as you can see, it's already working, baby. Look at that. Is that coming through all right on your end?
It's kind of, it actually looks like jelly, to be honest.
This is the worst ad for BSC to sponsor, I swear to God. Imagine if you're like sitting at BSC and you're like, yeah, we're sponsored these guys, it's going to be amazing. And then they look at us. And they look at these two drop pies for
Hey, don't say us. Do not drag me into you. I'm on revenge body season at the moment, eh?
Yeah, you need to be on revenge haircut season because whoever did your fringe dirty like that needs to be fired ASAP. Please.
I just haven't got it done right, mate. I've only got compliments of this.
Shout out 818 Barbers.
I'm going for the fuckboy haircut.
You're nailing it, but you look like a fuckboy who's missing a few chromosomes. If I'm going to be honest with you, looks like you've done it yourself. That's fucking awful, man. And by the way, he's now going to be stressing about his haircut the entire podcast, so he's forgotten everything. But straight off the bat, what have you been up to, man? It's been a minute since I spoke to you. What's been going on?
Not too much, just not really. Just fucking every day hear about how fucking COVID swamped Sydney is, and my trip seems to be getting pushed out every fucking day. I just want to shoot over.
I get all of my COVID update news off people in New Zealand messaging me saying like, bro, I can't believe you had 90 odd cases today. I'm like, oh, did we? I miss it in here. So yeah, it's pretty fucked, to be honest. I think now probably in the last podcast we did, I made a bit of a piss take about how Sydney siders and Aussies don't really give a fuck about these restrictions. I think people are listening a little bit more now. Like you seldom see someone rolling out without a mask, but there's still quite a lot of, I don't know if it's like misunderstanding or people just not giving a fuck, but it's still there. Like we're very much not NZ level 4 lockdown just yet in terms of our compliance, at least.
Yeah, surely there's still some house parties going on.
Oh, for sure. I'm not getting invited, but they're definitely rolling.
Yeah, well, obviously not.
They're definitely rolling. What else has been going on? Anything interesting on the love department, man? Surely you've got something to report. You can't just be sitting at home doing nothing.
Oh, mate, I just had as Jackson knows, I've just got out of a long-term relationship, and over the past couple of months, I've had a little Fouquet buddy.
Yeah.
It sounds fancy saying it like that. Yeah. And she told me she was going on a date with this guy, and I was like, oh yeah, sweet. So I just texted her. That was last night, and I just texted her today, and I was like, how was the date? And she said, oh, it went really well. So that's probably not good for you.
Oh,
I was like, oh, fucking hell. So just to save a little bit of grace, I was like, oh yeah, sweet. Well, that's probably us over then. Nice
and petty.
Nice and petty in there.
I would have waited. You know what? This isn't Jordan's room, by the way. We will get into some Barely Ballers chat after this. You know what I would have done? I would have left the reply late and then replied to real late and just been, oh, sorry, I forgot my shit at make up her name, Sarah's place. So I had to go back and get it. Anyway, how was your date? So I would have gone straight on the offensive, mate. You went petty, which I do like.
Yeah,
I do like.
Yeah. I
guess that means we're over. Yeah, what a little fucking sick.
Basically, yeah. It's funny as well because since we started Fouqueting, she actually listens to this, so she might listen to this ep as well.
Good. Oh, okay. Well, if she does, fuck you, bitch. Gonna get us kicked off YouTube, you little cunt. All right, bro. Let's talk a bit. I'll tell you what, mate. If she's willing to go fishing for fucking, sprats when she got herself a marlin, that's her business.
Thanks, mate. And
I'm talking all about your slug as well. Let's jump straight into a bit of, the other thing we missed as well, and I will upload it, we'll do a double upload tomorrow of this because we didn't do Barely Balls last week, but Ali, you jumped on with the Gridiron, what are they called? Gridiron Guys podcast?
Gridiron Guys, yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, I think we yarned for like an hour and then like another half hour afterwards when we stopped recording. So no, it was a good little gig. So yeah, check it out. Gridiron Guys on Spotify or I believe the Apple podcast.
Yeah, I'll embed it in the description of this one as well. So we'll do a double upload tomorrow. We'll get that up. I couldn't make it, so it was just Alex and the boys, but they sound like it went pretty well. And we may be doing a little bit more with them rolling through the NFL season, which would be cool content for you guys. And they seem to be a couple of degenerate punters as well. So
really get some bets going.
Really our type of people. But look, we are here because we're going to talk about NBA. Obviously, it's NBA finals time. We are the Barely Ballers. That's where we're going to start. We're going into game 6 now. Pretty much as the Oracle, Alex Craigie, predicted this thing. He said the Suns would win the first 2. He then thought the Bucks would win 3 in a row. And this thing was going to go 7. It's kind of playing out exactly as you said, yeah?
Yeah, I am going to... I hate jumping off what I said, but I am going to jump off slightly. I think the Bucks close it out at home. I just don't I don't think, again, I've never been high on this the Suns team. I think there's been a few episodes where I've said maybe I'm not giving them credit, but again, I just don't think that they're in the finals if AD is healthy. I don't think they're in the finals if Kawhi's healthy. You could even argue that with the Jamal Murray on the Nuggets, that the Nuggets may have won that. They did sweep them though, so give them a little bit of credit there. But no, I'm just not that high on the Suns team. I think that Giannis is fully healthy now and he's decided to dominate. And Chris Middleton he used to kind of play one good game, one bad game. He started to kind of go 2 or 3 good games for every bad game he's playing now. And then Drew Holiday's giving them enough offensively. So yeah, I think Bucks close it out. I think the game's on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I think you've missed something there. Like, I for one, I think Phoenix is going to jag this one. I think this series has been destined to go 7 from the start. So I think Phoenix is going to jag this one, and then that makes Game 7 so much more fucking interesting. I kind of just want it for content purposes. I just want to do a cooler podcast next week. Yeah. I don't want to do a podcast about the Bucks if they've won it in 6 without all those stars. But yeah, look, I think Phoenix can bounce back. I've been waiting for an explosion game from Devin Booker. I know he was really good in not the last one, where's my math? 4?
I think it was
4.
Was it 4? Was it? Oh yeah, I can't remember.
Whatever it was, 2 games ago. He obviously exploded and he got no help in that one. But that's not a Devin Booker explosion. I need a Devin Booker explosion. Like, I need between 45 and 50 points. And on top of that, you need Chris Paul to be fucking chalking in there with his 20-piece. You need more from Bridges. You just need Bridges to shoot, because sometimes he shoots, sometimes he doesn't. It's a bit weird. And for the love of God, Jay Crowder, just give me 10. Just do something, Jay Crowder. Give me 10 of the best. But my only concern going into this game, if you're a Suns fan, again, I picked the Bucks from the jump, so I hope they win, and it'd be amazing to do it in Milwaukee. And I think we'll get onto what it does for Giannis' legacy after this. But I think if you're Phoenix and you're a Phoenix fan going into this one, expect a Devin Booker explosion. I think it happens. Expect Chris Paul to go down swinging, which means I think he's going to be more aggressive on the scoring end. That's key for them. As great a facilitator as he is, he has to score if they're a chance of winning. On top of that, the absolute key, and I said it from the jump, he was my smoky for finals MVP. Long fucking way off now. DeAndre Ayton's got to perform, man. He looks a little bit, in these last 2 games, he's looked a little bit deer in the headlights when it's going down the stretch, when Giannis is coming down that lane. He's very quick to foul Giannis and push him to the line. I know that's obviously a coaching ploy, but man, at the offensive end, I have to see DeAndre Ayton bang that big ass into someone. It's fucking Brook Lopez most of the time guarding you. Yam it on that white boy and throw down some fucking points, man. If you're a Suns fan, you need DeAndre Ayton to stand up big, and you better hope that Devin Booker pulls out a game out of his ass. He's capable, but I think that's the only way they can win it.
Yeah, well, see, the thing with Devin Booker is, like, Chris Middleton is actually quite a good perimeter defender.
Yeah, he's very long.
So you have Chris Middleton on Booker, and then you have Drew Holiday on CP3. So that's why I think it's actually quite tough for either of them to really get going, and definitely for both of them to get going in the one game, because then potentially if Booker starts going off, then maybe you put Drew Holiday, who I would rate a better defender than Middleton. You start putting him on whoever's starting to go off. So I just think it's tough for Chris Paul and Booker to go off. So I think if they do need to jag it, Booker needs to go off, and then Aiden needs to go off, but he's going to need Chris Paul's help with that. I agree with you on the Aiden factor. Again, I had him as the Western Conference Finals MVP, if that means anything. But yeah, in these finals, he's just kind of been a little bit lackluster on the offensive side, and then you can't even really say he's protected the paint that well, because Giannis is fucking averaging 32 in the series.
I mean, I always thought Giannis would average over 30. He's a walking fucking 30 and 13 guy when it's down the stretch. But my thing with Ayton is when it's going well, when they're blowing teams out, or even in those first 2 games, he's sweet. And maybe it's just an experience thing. He is young, but fuck, man, when the going gets tough and you're the big center, you're the big rock down there, and you're the third wheel in this 3-headed monster they have. I know it's hardly a 3-headed monster, because we know if there were no injuries, they wouldn't even fucking be there. Yeah. But the reality is they can't control that. They're there now. It's time to win. If you're DeAndre Ayton, you need one of those Monty Williams fucking inspirational speeches to get up and go, fuck, he can rev the boys up, that boy. You need him on day 2 of a bender, I tell you what. But DeAndre Ayton has to stand up, man, because I genuinely don't think they're a chance. If he goes out there and he has his usual sort of 14 and 12 sort of game, there's no way they can win. He needs to get at least between that 16 and 20 efficient points. Otherwise, I just think Giannis is too good, man. And just on your Drew Holiday point as well, here's a little comparison. I threw it at Scope today. He kind of laughed in my face. To me, Drew Holiday is a souped up Patrick Beverley. Is that fair?
Nah,
Is he way better? I just mean because he's such
a
a pest defensively, and he's streaky, but not as streaky as Pat Beverley as a shooter. You know what I mean?
Nah,
Drew Holiday can score.
Drew Holiday in New Orleans was like averaging 20 a game. Drew Holiday is a scorer. He's just never been like he's played in the West most of his life, which obviously always made it harder for him to make an all-star team. But he was always that guy almost every single year that was like, oh, Drew Holiday's a snub. If he was in the East, he would be in over this guy. Drew Holiday is defensively, I get the comparison, but overall basketball player, fuck no.
Yeah, Scope actually said he's more of a poor man's Chris Paul than a rich man's Patrick Beverley. So maybe he's more accurate there. Like, I know he did have he had 13 assists in that last game. That ain't Drew Holiday. I don't give a fuck what Scope says.
No. Drew Holiday's never been an assist guy. He's been like he averages in a bucket.
He averages, I think, 6.5 assists. So like he's a pretty standard point guard in that department. But yeah, that was mad disrespect to Chris Paul calling him that. Anyway, that was just my little thing. I thought he looked a little bit homeless as well, same as Pat Bev. Let's speak about the point guard though, because obviously you have mentioned off the top that you have the Bucks winning this game, and we will touch on our little punts at the end of this, a little same game multi for all of our fans out there, which I know there's about 13 of them. So Chris Paul
moving up in the world, 13 fans now. Shit,
you're like ATL Sports, baby. We don't fuck around. Chris Paul, obviously, win, lose or draw. I say that hypothetically because obviously they can't draw. Win or lose in this series, he's going to be the big storyline in the offseason. LeBron sitting courtside there gets me thinking, but does Chris Paul stay or go?
Well, you asked me this last week, and I said win or lose, he leaves no matter what. And I said if they lose, I think he goes to the Lakers. I don't know how they could make it work, but fuck, they'll work something out. And if not the Lakers, then I think if Kawhi doesn't leave, then I think he goes to the Clippers. So again, LeBron doesn't ever do anything because he feels like it. There's always something behind it.
Yeah.
He was at that Suns game for a reason. You know, he's chatting to Chris Paul after the game saying, oh, you know, if I was there, you could have done this, we could have done that. You know, imagine me instead of Mikal Bridges there, me, you and Booker, or instead of Booker, it's me, you and AD type thing. So maybe not in those exact words because Chris Paul's fucking playing, but you know, LeBron's always got something up his sleeve.
I obviously said absolutely not. I thought he stayed no matter what until I saw the big fella courtside. And then I started to go, oh, that's right, they're quite good mates. Oh, that's right, LeBron's a fucking GM. Oh, he's a schemer. I am still going to stay on. I'm not going to join you just yet, but I will say that game he sort of caused a pause, seeing LeBron there courtside. I think he stays in Phoenix if they lose. Absolutely. I think they run it back. He tries again with this squad. He backs on the fact that Booker's going to be better, DeAndre Ayton's going to get better, and maybe they can attract another Jimmy Butler type player, maybe another sort of bubble all-star to join them and have a red hot crack at it if they lose in the finals. I think he'll want that sort of revenge in him. That's what the narrative I'm going to play at. If they win, I have no idea. If they win, I'm starting to lean more towards you a little bit in that. I think LeBron could get him if they win and they go for a nice little banana boat crew fucking...
Yeah, I was just about to say the banana boat buddies come back. D-Wade comes out of retirement. I have no idea what Melo's contract is, but fuck it. Quit, leave.
Melo, if he's not playing for the Breakers next year, I don't know what he's doing. So, yeah. We're going to flip it over to the other side then. Because I believe... You believe the Bucks are going to wrap it up here. I think they're going to do it in the seventh game. But either way, we both are picking the Bucks here. Mad disrespect to the Suns. We just have all year we haven't given them respect. Anyway,
never been on them. Never been on them.
Giannis, obviously we all know he's a fucking two-time MVP, defensive player of the year as well. Absolute freak. First pick All-Star every time. In terms of if he goes on to win this championship, and it'll be the first in Bucks for like fucking 55 years.
I think since Kareem and Oscar Robertson won in fucking, when were they, around 60s?
It's like the mighty Eden Rugby Club. Shout out Eden, winning after 99 years. So there's some dynasties being broken. There's a theme this year. But I think if Giannis wins, I'll pose this question to you before I jump in. What does it do for his legacy in terms of where it puts him in the current crop of all-time players that we have at the moment when you start to look at LeBron, Kawhi, KD, Steph, Lillard, Harden, all those guys? If Giannis goes on and beats Chris Paul and wins this series, where do you put him?
If Giannis wins it, I think it... at the moment, I already think it's up for discussion. With KD not being able to carry the Nets in that seventh game against the Bucks, and with LeBron not being able to get past the Suns, I don't think there is a king of the NBA at the moment. I think it's really open for discussion and kind of wait till next season to see who does what. At the moment, for me, Giannis isn't in that conversation. He has to win this championship to even be in that conversation. But even if he wins, I'm still not like absolutely putting him above KD or LeBron. It would just put him in that conversation to me and probably drop Kawhi out of it. If we're talking top three. If you're talking top five, then obviously both can fit in. But top three, he wins, he's in it. He loses, he's out of it.
Yeah, I probably should have posed that a bit better. I agree. I think top five, he's in anyone's books. I think it'd be stupid not to put him in there. Obviously, like, we all know Steph Curry's number one. Let's not be stupid. We all know Steph Curry's the greatest player of all time. But that's neither here nor there. But in terms of, I think a championship just gets that last weight off his shoulders. When you're at his age and you're ascending and you're in your prime and you've already ticked off the MVP and a championship, say what you want about asterisks and injuries or whatever, they didn't control that. They were the best team in the East outside of Philly through the regular season. They won through, and let's say hypothetically they go on and beat Phoenix. They beat a good side in the finals. That's a championship. I don't give a fuck what you say about it. So he wins a championship. He's got the MVPs. I think that frees him up to then really fulfill his potential and be the Greek freak that we all know he can be. He's already fucking elite, and I put him right there under KD. I put him ahead of Kawhi, so I think he bumps into that top three already, as is. He goes on and wins this. I don't think we're ready to have that conversation yet. I just think LeBron and KD have so much daylight between them before the rest of that chasing pack and Giannis, Harden, Kawhi. But Giannis, to me, is ahead of that chasing group. Do you know what I'm saying there? I got one and two, fucking daylight. Giannis, a bit more daylight. And then we start rattling off the Hardens, the Currys, let's be honest. The Currys, the Lillards, and all those boys. So I don't know how much a championship changes that, but in terms of the player, I think a championship changes him drastically rolling forward to the next 2, 3, 4 seasons.
Yeah, well, I sent you something a couple of weeks ago, and I'm actually glad you didn't post it. It was that, I think the headline was like, worst championship ever, and just saying all your
emails go through to my bloody spam. So you got to flag me. Yeah, you got to tell me.
Yours go to my spam as well, so.
Nobody wanna see us together.
You got that Yahoo Pornhub account.
I've run so many fake emails through that as well.
Anyway, as I was saying, I sent you something about like there being an asterisk on this season, and I'm actually glad you didn't post it because I don't know, just thinking about it more, like I think injury is definitely a part of sport, and if you're going to put an asterisk on this season, then I can think you can look back through every single season and put an asterisk next to it.
That's what I was going to say. I agree. As far as I'm concerned, I don't mean to interrupt you. As far as I'm concerned, Kawhi is a champion. The Raptors won it. That's like I don't put
that's the thing. If you take away this one from Giannis, then you kind of have to take away LeBron's one with the Lakers because there was a bubble and it wasn't a normal season. Then you take away Kawhi's one because of KD. Then can you take away KD's ones because the team was so stacked? You keep going down a fucking rabbit hole. So I do think it's a legit title.
So do I.
But for me, in terms of that greatest, just pure talent wise, I just think at the moment KD is. I think LeBron's just literally not even 2 years too old. I think he's 1 year too old, unless he was injured. There were rumors that his ankle still wasn't healthy. Unless he was injured and he can come back. But assuming that that's the best LeBron we're still going to see from now, KD talent-wise is head and shoulders above everyone else. But again, I was really expecting him to win that Game 7. Obviously his other players were injured, but I still think that if you're that guy, you should be able to take him there. And he couldn't. And if Giannis can, that's where I think he sort of falls into that conversation. Not talent-wise, but again, sometimes you can be the most talented dude, but just don't know how to win. Yeah,
no, I agree 100%. I wouldn't put him there, but if he goes on and wins this championship and he's the finals MVP and dominates, I'm not going to fight and argue to the death with someone who thinks he's ahead of those two, because all you can do is play it by what you see, and what you see is two guys that didn't make the finals and didn't get it done, and a guy who did. So he's like, just purely on basketball wise, he's hitting jumpers now. Still can't hit a free throw to save himself, but can actually kind of hit a jumper, a little bit of a fade away in the post type thing. Like he's more than just dunking it. Even a couple he put up and missed. What day is it? Yesterday. Like they were still nice shots. They were good high percentage shots. I know mid ranges aren't high percentage, but it was a good look. He put it up, and he was missing. But I like him taking that. Like again, we always make fun of him, but for the love of God, if Ben Simmons could just study one guy, study Giannis. He came in as an elite athletic dunker who could not shoot, and he's developed his whole game, and he works on his game. He gets better and better. Whereas Simmons is out there just necking on with birds at Wimbledon and fucking God knows what else,
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him.
Yeah.
Money in the bank, you look like that, why not? Sweet, bro. I think that'll do it. Anything else? Oh, our punts, of course. We got a bit of same game jam. How did you go in the NBA the last couple of days? I know you love yourself a little NBA bit.
Oh, actually, I know it didn't win. I didn't actually have a look as to what didn't win, but I remember it didn't. I think it was maybe the last one I put up after we did the podcast, that was actually for game 2. I had Middleton at over his points and he didn't hit that.
Yeah.
He had a really bad game then. But this one, so again, I do think the Bucks are going to win this, but I don't think the Suns just roll over.
Yep.
So I got Chris Paul, 20 plus points, DeAndre Ayton, 15 plus points, but I think Giannis goes nuts. It's in Milwaukee, and I think he goes 30 points plus and 12 rebounds plus, and that is paying a respectable $5.
That's very
for what
respectable.
I think is a reasonably safe 4-leg multi. $5, little power play, make it $5.40. That's not bad.
All right, you ready? You ready to see me go here?
For your fucking how long have we got? Half an hour for your 50-leg multi?
Game 6, everything on the line. I reckon everyone's going big. I'm going the overs on basically everyone. You ready for this? Devin Booker, over 30. Chris Paul, over 21.5. DeAndre Ayton, you better fucking man up and you better give me more than 16.5. Mikal Bridges, shoot the ball, man, over 11.5. Jay Crowder, under, because he's my most hated player in basketball. Jay Crowder,
under what?
Under 11.5. Giannis, I agree, goes nuts, over 33. I'm not going to touch Middleton just because he fucks me whichever way I go. Every time I bet on it.
Yeah, I was looking at him, and I don't usually do the over-unders. I usually go for like the points plus or not. And for him to get 20 points plus was paying like $1.10. And I just don't really trust him anymore than that.
Nah. And speaking of trust, I'm going to go the poor man's Patrick Beverley, as I've called him before. Drew Holiday on the overs at 20. That is 7 legs. 7 legs. Powered up. 103 to 1.
What a waste of $1.
We're going to the fucking penthouse with that shit.
What a waste of a fucking dollar.
On God, I'm putting $100 on it right now. That's $10,300. Hey. If I win, this podcast is no longer going on because I will be fucking out here. So if I win this, everyone follow along with me. If you hate money, don't follow me. Follow Alex. If you like money, come with me. 103 to 1. That's easy money.
Just obviously speaking about money and you being bad at betting.
Yeah.
Remember we haven't really talked about it this much. It kind of got faded away, but obviously me and Jackson, we had the bet last year with our mate Kaz. We just went team for team and we all picked it, and I ended up having the Lakers and I won it. We decided to run it back this season just with the same teams, and I have the Bucks.
Do ya?
Yeah, I have the Bucks. Yeah,
do I have the Suns?
You idiots left the Bucks like 6 or 7 picks down, and I managed to snag them. And this was last year.
That's weird because the start of the season on this, I picked the Bucks to win it all. I've got no idea what I'm doing, bro. I think I picked the Warriors. Anyway,
I just wanted to let you know you're going to owe me $100 soon anyway. So
it can come out of my 10,300 I'm about to win. So just to wrap it up, we'll put the tips in the podcast description for everyone to follow along, and I'll get them out on a blog tomorrow for everyone as well. But Alex's a couple of the legs, so he's going the 20 plus, he's going the 15 plus, and the 33. So that's Chris Paul, Ayton, and Giannis. Am I correct?
Giannis for 30 plus, yeah, and then Giannis 12 plus rebounds.
12 plus rebounds. So he's going there. That's going to give you a good $5, $6,
$5.
$5. And I'm taking basically everyone on Phoenix to go over except Crowder. I'm going Giannis and Drew to go over as well, and that's giving you 100 of the best. So
Crowder's going to give you 40.
I hope Crowder goes off for 40 and forces game 7. All right, but I'll wrap it up there, right?
Sweet. All right,
Recording stopped.
Hold up.
Oh.